all the way.
Yeah, all the way, man. All right, people should start coming on in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, how you been though? What's up with you?
Man, I've been good, man. I got news that I might be a grandpa.
Really?
Yeah, man. So
Is it does she
I
know it's
got
a boy or girl?
she don't know yet,
Oh,
but,
okay.
but I got another daughter that got two kids, but I ain't really never kicked it with them but one time,
Right, right, right.
and they like 12. So I'm looking forward to this.
Oh man, no question. I think it's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah, you know.
Beautiful thing. Yeah, for real, for real. I got a gang of grandkids.
Do you?
Hell yeah, because I got a gang of kids. Yeah, man.
How many kids you got, man?
I got 6 kids. I used to say when I was in the game, oh, six and a possible. Yeah, six
Yeah,
grown kids.
yeah, you got some grown kids.
Yeah, they grown, man.
Your son 21 or something, ain't he?
My son's 27. My youngest son is 27.
Damn.
Hmm. My old is uh Anthony and Israana. They're about 37. Yeah, about 37.
Yeah, my oldest daughter 40.
Hmm. Yeah. What's
Things
up with you cats? What you say?
things been good though.
Man, yeah.
Yeah, man. I told you
That's a
I've
blessing.
been writing on that doggone master's program for about 2 months.
Wow, wow. What does
You
that
know,
entail?
when I get to doing something like that, I get really intense with it.
You got to.
Yeah,
I
so
don't know. I don't know that you know how to do anything different than being
the
intense about what you believe in. Shit.
damn everything.
You feel me?
Yeah,
For real, man.
that's how we gotta
How's,
be though.
how's our guy doing, man?
Tay,
Yeah.
he doing fine.
Yeah, I had a couple of people ask about him.
He
I
was
seen some
sick though.
comments.
I didn't know that he was sick. I guess 3 days ago, had a little cold.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I guess right. Maybe the next day.
He just had a birthday.
His birthday was April 29th.
April 29th. I thought I seen something recently on him though.
It might have
Up
came,
online.
might have came back up or something. But
Oh, okay, okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. Man. I see you guys coming in the room. Come on up in here, man.
yeah,
Come on in. So tell me some more about this master's program you've been writing.
well, a couple of cats that called in. They be saying some stuff that's not particularly right, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not really wrong either. It's just not the proper way to express it. And
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
started realizing that that it is more to this than I thought. Once they got a little game, they would be using that game to get sharper and
Mm-hmm.
developing that third eye. The way we see stuff, we don't see stuff the way regular people see stuff.
Right, right.
So I just call it seeing through the third eye, having
Mm-hmm.
game,
Mm-hmm.
over everything you fucking seeing. And what I'm saying is my program is taking them deeper into how to recognize when to animate their voice, when to doggone be passive aggressive, what types of things or statements to look for, not in an angry way, just in a paying attention to conversation way.
Mm-hmm.
And they need to be taught. I thought they would get that on their own, but they really need to be taught that.
Yeah, walk them on down through there.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me, I guess, 6 years to see that.
Wow. Hmm. So this is just a broader iteration of the program then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like in math, once you get the BA, you want the master's, then
Hmm.
you want the PhD, but all of it involves higher math.
Sure, sure.
So this is going to involve higher thinking because
Mm-hmm.
instead of individualizing these things we learning, they got to learn how to use all those things simultaneously.
Hmm. So this would also be something beneficial from your graduates that have graduated on that other level.
This is
This would even
actually
be
for them.
beneficial to them. Oh, this is for them.
Yeah. Because they
Okay.
still be calling me and asking me, woo woo. And I'm saying,
Hmm.
man, once you get gamed up, this game guides you.
Sure.
You see everything through the lens of this game. And you make decisions quickly based on what you believe about this game. And
Right.
and, and what I'm saying is if you gotta call a nigga, you ain't using it. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying?
Hmm.
You could call a nigga after you did made a move, blah blah blah, and y'all could talk about it. Man, I had woo woo to do it. I handle it like this, man. And you might have another way to look at it, and we share
Sure.
it. You know what I'm saying? But as far as me needing to call somebody, I don't need that. I trust
Hmm.
what I
Hmm.
think.
Yeah.
I didn't call Tay. I probably will call you in the future. I'm
Yeah.
just saying
Yeah.
I don't really roll like that. And
Sure. Sure.
for
Sure.
for
But you lived it though. You
yeah,
you
yeah,
you lived it.
yeah.
You have a whole different
But that's what I'm saying.
foundation.
See, I lived this, and over the years, I developed all this. Over the
Sure.
years, many years. Whereas these cats only been fucking with me maybe 1 or 2 years,
Right. Right.
and they really ain't been fucking with me that long. They fucked with me 2 years ago, if that's the case, and they didn't graduated.
Hmm.
Some of them, whatever, when they fuck with me, is what I'm saying is they not qualified to actually go where I'm telling them I'm going to teach them to go because
Hmm.
they're still in the if you looking for whatever you looking for out of this conversation with this girl, and you want to listen to her, you want to make sure you pick up some shit from what she's saying that you could
Hmm.
use. you know you don't think about that stuff one at a time.
Right. Right. Right.
If it's 10 things, you think of all of them at once,
Hmm. Hmm.
and you're doing them the whole time you talking.
Right. Right.
See, these guys got to still think of the shit.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's because I didn't really go advanced enough as far as give them assignments that involve that.
Right. Right.
So that
Um,
that was
I'd
part.
imagine. I'd imagine that there's a scripture that I like that I use often. I use with my son and people that I care for, so that they won't have this feeling like, because especially within our culture, young black men, black males, they have a feeling of insecurity about feeling that they have learned something from another black man. That's so problematic. See, there's no other race that feel that way, because every other race is proud about what they've learned from their forefathers, right? They're proud when they go to these Ivy League schools. They know that they're getting information passed down from their ancestors and from their forefathers. But black people, black men, on the most part, not all of them, but a lot of them, feel like it reduces them to do like what I do, or like we do. We've done many times on the spotlight. We share when somebody has taught us something. How the hell that's going to make me small when I say I learned something from such and such, and I was
Yeah,
explaining to
see,
them. Yeah, go
that's
ahead.
that's the big difference between our generation and the newer generations.
Yeah.
See, they are very insecure,
Hmm.
and you hear the guys that call, and none of them feel that I have done anything but bless them. It's
Hmm.
just that as the person I am, when I hear them saying stuff that's not right, it bothers me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then when they call me or get with me and we kick it, and they saying what they think, and I'm realizing, man, you should have, and I tell them what they should have learned, but they can't learn it unless they experience it.
Right. Right.
Just
Right.
because, see, we really was in the game. So what
Sure.
I'm saying is, whatever we learned, we used it in the field all the time.
Yeah. On the
Where
job training.
Yeah, whereas these guys, they're not in the field all the time. They're in the field only if that's the case when they go out. And I
Sure.
tell and I tell them, man, see, that's where you making your mistake. You're supposed to be out all the time.
Yeah.
Have that frame of mind. So you don't know where that next woman coming from. We learned that. That's
Right.
why we was ready at all times. You know what I'm saying? We didn't go nowhere unprepared for whatever. But
Yeah.
that's because we kept thinking it every day, every single
Yeah.
day,
Living it. And so,
every
so,
single day.
so because I know that there's an issue because of our own insecurities, black men's insecurities, they feel like it makes them look, that you've learned something from somebody, right? So what I try to teach them is that there are principles that govern knowledge, right? One of those principles is in a multitude of counsel, there's safety. That is a spiritual principle. To make somebody feel that it's okay because this principle tells you that if in a multitude of this counsel that I'm getting you, you're going to be safe. That's a spiritual principle. So you don't have to feel less than, you should feel empowered because I'm about to help you from you getting a bad decision out there. And it's through my multitude of counsel. That's why I tell people you can't just be in the class one time and think you got it. It's
Right,
impossible.
right,
It's taken me over 30 years of my life to get and formulate, to utilize it, to fail at it, to succeed at it. So you can't, and you've been developing to who you are. I'm talking to them. You could be 25, you could be 35, you could be 45. However old you are, you've been in the world that long, developing into the personality that you're in, that you've developed into. So you ain't can't come and get the new information and think that you could hear this and think that you've mastered it. You haven't mastered it. That's why the scriptures say that in a multitude of counsel, there's safety, right? So I
Hey,
know a
hey,
lot of
hey, Dre, is
people,
multitude of counsel meaning more than one person counseling you,
no,
or
in a multitude of me counseling somebody, there is
you
safety.
counseling a multitude, or a multitude counseling dude?
The fact that I'm talking to somebody over a period of time makes it a multitude,
Oh,
right? So a multitude of our counseling that individual, there's safety in that.
yeah,
Somebody might get a class, just like you're saying, you're creating this new iteration of the information. So somebody might get a class and you realize that they need some more. That's the multitude of counsel, right? That's a multitude of counsel. So somebody's coming 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, right? Because they've been who they are for 25, 35, 45 years of their life, and they've not been in this lifestyle to know how to think like this, to know how to move like that, to know how to get confidence like that. So they might get the first iteration of your class and feel, well, maybe this is going to do it. So now you say, no, because now I'm realizing if you guys are calling me, it's something you're not doing, you're not utilizing. So now I realize I got to take it to another level now with
right,
you guys.
right.
So that's a multitude of counsel.
Okay. I mean, I
Yeah.
just didn't understand it at
No,
first.
no, I'm just saying. So I just want to let the people know
Yeah.
that that's a good thing.
Hell
You
yeah,
don't have to
it
feel
is.
bad about that. That's a great thing.
The way I approach it is, they be shamed at first, because they got these problems, and we
Mm-hmm.
be, we be in a group call, and what I let them know is, dude, you got to think of this as a team,
Mm-hmm.
and you guys are all on the team, and you don't have particular positions. You just being here is the position, and you
Mm-hmm.
got to realize that everybody in here at one point was where you at.
Yeah.
So they it's different levels of people in this conversation, different levels of learning what I'm teaching you.
Sure. Sure.
And that's what I tell them. You should feel safe around your teammates. What I'm really saying is that I didn't know what I was thinking was so close to a spiritual passage.
And look at there, man.
That's why I was wondering about the multitude.
Right, right, right.
I was sitting here thinking, you know, you know, do they need a multitude of dudes? You telling them this?
They just need you to tell them.
They need more than one lesson.
Ain't no question about it.
Yeah, that's some dope, man.
Yeah. So I see, I've had to live it because I had my dad giving me a multitude of counsel, right? I had my dad giving me a multitude of counsel. I wouldn't be who I am if I didn't have somebody constantly giving this thing to me, correcting me, letting me know. Of course, he was. I'm out there trying to live it, though. And if you out there trying to live it, you gonna make the mistakes. That's a part of it. That's a part of living it. It's
Yeah,
making the
but
mistake.
every mistake you made taught you something.
I ain't no. It should teach you something. You
No,
cats
but I'm
today.
saying you.
No,
Every
I'm talking about them.
I
It
know
should.
I know you're saying it should teach whoever made the mistake, but I'm saying everyone you made taught you something.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Everyone
That's
I
the way
made
it's
taught
supposed
me
to be.
something.
But these
Every
cats
one of them.
today, it won't teach them because you guess what? They'll repeat the same thing a zillion times. And then you done gave them the information, but they gonna repeat the same thing a zillion times when you gave them the information.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of an organized situation the way we got it.
Mm-hmm,
Because
mm-hmm.
what I'm saying is, of course, you ain't gonna get it all in this first little bit.
Right.
But by you coming back 3, 4, 5 times a week and you doing that for 3 months, and each time we building on what you learned and how much you learned it to show through your recordings. So
Mm-hmm.
so everything is progressive as far as where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
And what makes kind of kills the jealousy of me teaching that, my theory, is
Mm-hmm.
that I don't tell them shit.
Right.
I don't tell them what to say. I just tell them the things about conversation or the things about emotions or whatever I'm talking about. I tell them the different aspects of it. But as far as dealing with it and handling this assignment, you got to come up with how you gonna do it.
Mm-hmm,
And they really doing the shit on their own,
right.
except
Right.
for they're having guidance
Sure.
instead of just being out there alone.
See how I do it. I used to just when I used to come on many years ago, I would come on once a week. And when I recently, maybe the last 6 months, was freed up again to start giving classes, I realized that I'm going to have to do it twice a week, live classes of teaching twice a week. Be, because what I realize is that while I'm giving them some information, society is constantly promoting to them their ideas, constantly. So they're constantly getting 24/7 society's perspective, society's emasculation, society's putting you down, society's trying to define who you are. And I realize that they're going to need me twice a week, giving them the information, right? Giving them something to combat what that indoctrination is from society. And then it gives me an opportunity. Here's where the growth come in. As people are in the classes for several months, I do an interactive, right? So I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to ask a question. And when I'm asking those questions, when I'm getting the feedback, I'm knowing where they are and I want them to know where they are. And I like that interaction and that I be getting back and forth from them. And then what I realized, Rosebud, is that in the beginning, a lot of them were afraid. I'm sure you ran into this to ask questions because they felt like I was going to jam them up, right? So I let them
Or
do
or they didn't want to, show they don't know what they don't know.
right, right. But I tell them this is the place this is where you have to talk about where you at.
The only stupid question is the one you don't ask.
Ain't no question. If you ever had one, this is the time that you want to say that so that I can help you process through that thing, right? If I know where you at, I'm gonna know where you at by the questions that you ask. So I try to tell them this is a safe place. This is when you need to ask those questions. right? Now, if somebody's been in the class 5 months, still asking me the same question they asked in the beginning, then I'm gonna jam them up because then I'm gonna know you ain't been doing this work. You haven't been exercising this information, right? Now you accountable. I can't make you accountable for what you don't know. I can only make you accountable for what you know. So if you've been in the class for 5 months, you know, and I'm gonna make you accountable to that. There's one guy that I was mentoring him for 6 months. He's paying the mentor fee for 6 months, and I stopped mentoring him. I've said this before because he kept asking me the same questions. I said, man, I can't even accept your money no more, man, because it's never really about the money to me. Of course, I'm a teacher and there's value in what I say, right?
Yeah.
So fair exchange, no robbery and all that. But because you refuse to advance because you refuse to apply, I'm gonna have to refuse to keep giving you this information, right? Until I see that you are operating, that you are doing something with what I'm giving you. And I
Sometimes
had
they,
to say no.
sometimes they don't even have motivation to do it. So stopping whatever action you give them sometimes motivates them, because that's what I do. If they miss a couple of classes or don't turn in assignments, well, you must don't want this cat, so I'm gonna block you.
Mm-hmm.
Then when you feel like you want to come back in here or something, hit me and we can kick it and reestablish. But
Mm-hmm.
you know, you can't just be signed up in here and don't show up
Sure.
and still have access to everything.
Right, right, right.
Nah, man. So I tell them, and if you want to give your money away like that, you're certainly welcome. I definitely need it, but I ain't really about the money. I'm about you really learning this shit.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so those are the things that you have to work on when you're dealing with people that, it's like I can speak a little bit on it. I'm not gonna talk too much in depth because this is for the classes. But I was explaining to people how when I was in the game, I never I never, well, if I had a broad and she had a square boyfriend, right? I'd tell the broad, I'm not gonna help you quit no square. I ain't gonna never help you quit no square. You got yourself into that situation and you're gonna have to get yourself out of it. Because I've got friends and I know people that have tried to go talk to a square, not realizing that he ain't in the game. All he know, this is my girlfriend, I love her, and all this kind of stuff, and been killed.
Cricket.
Yeah, do you see what I'm saying? Been
Yeah.
killed. So I don't go quit no. You gonna quit the square?
Period.
You gonna let him know?
I ain't even going over to your
I'm
house.
not doing any of that because I have to understand that this man ain't in the game. He ain't got a game mentality. All he got is just my girlfriend. And I said, and my God, don't let him have a baby by the broad.
Plus, you the motherfucker he hate.
Yeah, yeah. He gonna hate me even that much more. He
And
gonna
Whether
hate
whether
anybody.
he whether he white or black or whatever, you the motherfucker he hate.
Please believe. Please believe. So
So
I
you ain't
never
got
do
no
that.
business trying to explain shit to one of them motherfuckers.
You can't.
That's right.
You can't. So I'm telling them that came with wisdom and seeing people being killed in situations. So
Hell yeah.
that came with wisdom. So that let me know that's something that a nigga ain't gonna never do. It ain't gonna never
Exactly.
ever happen. And I'm gonna tell the bride, you ain't even been with me. You ain't even did anything. That I'm about to go put my life on the line dealing with your boyfriend. It ain't gonna happen. If you
Nah.
trying to be with me, you gonna have to let him know that you ain't messing with him to the point that he really know you ain't playing. That's your responsibility. It ain't mine. It ain't gonna happen. For real,
Hey,
for real.
you be silly to trust some shit like that.
Yeah.
You you
Let's
you
see.
got to make sure baby get away on her own, then come to you, preferably to another city, and y'all roll like that.
Yeah.
It ain't gotta be like that, but that's the preferable way.
You feel me? Let me see this. Let me see here. Nikki said, my question is when people try to get me to break my standards, what would be the correct reply to them? Well, you started off wrong here. Let me break this down for you. You started off wrong here. My question is when people try to get me to break my standards. See right there, I want you to reevaluate that question because of how you put that. When people try to get me, to break. It shouldn't matter what people try to get you to do. If you got a standard, it is what it is. It don't matter what the attempts are. If you got you stand for something. Who cares what they try to do? Good luck. But if you got standards and you got principles that you're willing to give your life up for, it don't matter what people try to do. There's no response to it. The only response, the correct response, is to keep standing on your square, to keep standing on your standards. It don't require a reply. It don't require a reply. The only reply that's required is the action of you sticking to your standards. That's the only reply.
My question to her is, what would you feel if you broke your standard? I'm saying it's a standard for a reason,
Hmm.
and should be a good reason for you. And you should never allow anybody to get you to consider breaking your standards,
Mm-hmm.
because you wouldn't have any standards if you let people allow you to. I mean, if you allow people to get you to break your standards, people
Yeah.
gonna always try to get you to come down to their level. When your standards put you in a position where you ain't gonna fuck with them like that, and they want to bring you down so that you can fuck with them. No, you keep your standards. They'll look up to you 2-3 years from now when you rolling. They're gonna say, "I knew she was gonna do something better."
And then let me see, if you was in my class, what I do is I make examples. What do you mean by that, Drake? The examples I make is I say the answer I gave you, it has a little depth to it, but it doesn't have the amount of depth that I would give you as you was in the class. I'll give you a perfect example. I'll give you a taste of how I would do this, right? So if you was in the class, because those remnant members that's in the chat right now, they would know Drake would go all the way deep in this thing. So just to give you a foretaste of how I would do in the class, I'm going to do that with you right now. Okay. You say, my question is, when people try to get me to break my standards, what would be the correct reply to them? I told you that if it's your standards, there's no need of a reply. The only reply is the evidence that you're sticking to your standards. But if you was in the class, I would take you way deep down in there, down into the ocean, almost where you damn near suffocate because it's so deep, right? I would say, if you came into if a woman came to me and this is what she said, I would ask her, what are those standards based upon? Because some people have standards that they were taught to have through some socialization. Watch, I'm gonna turn the corner. This is what I say in the classes. I'm gonna turn the corner on you, right? So there might be a standard based upon an experience you had in your life, and that experience has caused you a trauma, and that trauma has developed in you a standard, right? Because of that trauma. So what I would do is say, well, wait a minute, where did you get this, right? Where did this come from? And you might say, well, because I had a relative who tried to rape me when I was a little girl, right? And based upon that right there, I never do this no matter what, right? And I've had females that has been in situations with guys before, and they gave their all to those guys, and I've heard them say that I will never be with another guy like I was to him because of what he did. So then I would say, well, if that's a standard, that's problematic. Because what you're really saying to me is that because of whatever his shortcomings were, you will not be your best to me, right? You will not be your best to me because of the shortcomings of somebody else. And even though that's a standard to you, I'm telling you that the standard is based on some insecurity, and you've allowed that individual to cause you not to have a complete relationship with nobody else.
What they say.
Now that has become a character flaw, even though it's been a standard to you. But that standard in you was developed from trauma from somebody else. The trauma you got from somebody else. And now you said, I'll never be with him like I'll never be with anybody else like I was to him. So now you're speaking out of your pain and you're speaking out of your trauma, right? And if you're dealing with a man, I'm going to recognize it and I'm going to say, if you're telling me you're not going to be your all to me because of the failures and the shortcomings of another man, then probably you and I won't have a relationship together because that's something that's unacceptable. I don't care what happens with any other woman in my life, but I'm about to be my best with you, period. So do you understand what I'm saying? So we don't go surface, we go all the way deep into situations because it's you might say like what you just said, a standard. I need to know what that's based on. Is it something coming up out of a situation because you had a problem or an issue or trauma or whatever? That would be what I would take you into the class. And I freed up a lot of people, right? Because what we did is we just put the spotlight on what you call your standard, right? All right. You got that, Nikki?
Hey, Nikki already she responded. Oh, she understand. I mean,
Yeah, she did.
somebody corrected me and said that's a dude.
Oh,
So
it's a dude. Okay.
yeah,
Well, you got it, Nikki. That's what's up.
yeah, he understand.
Yeah, he got it. Yeah. But see, that's what Rosebud and I is telling you. We talk to you guys and we give you some game, we give you some knowledge, right? But there's so much deeper stuff, right? I mean, a lot deeper stuff. Just like I just explained that situation, you would have never even thought about that situation one bit. But I illuminated the situation to you. It became alive because I've illuminated the situation where it was dead in your brain. You never even considered that. You see what I'm saying? So that's what we do.
Dre, you see that question Edward Macmillan asked you?
Where is he at? Let me see. Let me put it up.
I don't know. You see, yeah, that's it.
Did Dove have an understanding of the game when y'all met, or did you introduce her to it? And how did she accept other women being a part of what you had going on? Dove was square, right? And so, of course, I introduced her to the information to who I am because the game is me, is in me, right? Anybody that has any acquaintance with me is going to be introduced to the game, right? And so when I met Dove, I was on the run from the police. I had two hoes at the time, three hoes at the time. One was in a different place, two was with me, and I had got some into some issues out in San Diego. I mean, in Las Vegas, right? And so they came and took all my stuff, and you know what I'm saying. And then so I needed to get some money. So the Super Bowl was happening in 1998 down there in San Diego, where Denver was playing Green Bay. So I said, I'm gonna go out to the Super Bowl, take them two little bras that I had, right, and go get me some money. That's what my thought was because it was gonna be a lot of action out there. And one day I was just in my hotel room and I was like, man, this shit is so messed up thinking about all the shit that doesn't happen and all that stuff. And I said, man, I'm just gonna go out, man, and just go break the monotony because I wasn't really going to no clubs or nothing like that. So I just went out to a club called the Blue Tattoo down in San Diego. And that's where I met Dove, you know. She herself didn't really go out and stuff, but she went out with a friend and, you know, and that's how we met. I didn't tell her nothing about what I was doing. In the beginning, I just had a regular conversation. When I'm out, when I talk to a female, I don't go up to no bra, say it's pimping, it's pimping. Man, I'm not nothing. That's nothing. Man, I'm none of that. You know, I always used to say, man, I want a girl to get to know who I am, to like me as a man, because I always say you got to be a man before you're a pimp. So I want a woman to get to know who I am, right? Like who I am. And then when she likes who I am, I'm gonna tell her what I do, right? And the percentages is on my side because she already likes who I am. I just happen to be pimping. You know, but the battle is the girl to get to like you. That's why a girl will be with a drug dealer. That's why a girl be with a gangbanger. That's why a girl be with a bank robber because they like him. They like him. So I wanted a girl to be with me. I only knew Dove 2 months before I went to jail. 2 months. And the reason why I love and respect her, because I told her, I said, you a square, and I really don't mess with squares. But I told her sometime life, fate, and God will put a situation together. And now God has put a situation together that you could prove yourself even more loyal than them bras that I had. And she said, well, how? I said, because I don't mess with squares, because I mess with holes because of their loyalty to me. And I said, but a situation is created. She said, well, how can I? I said, well, there's nothing worse in life than a man's freedom to be taken care of. And I said, and I know for a fact, a nigga go to jail, a lot of niggas' holes just blow. It just happens all the time. That's just the nature of the game. I said, but if you can stand up for me, because God has created a situation here for you to prove yourself through. I'm in my worst case scenario. And if you can stand up for me when I know some holes probably wouldn't have because I'm in prison or I'm in jail, but if you can stand up for me with that, that has surely let me know that you's a stand up, stump down for me. She said, I can do it. And I can guarantee you, them 3 years, she did every bit of everything I ever needed her to do. Never had. I always had money in my books. They moved me from Vegas. They sent me down to Tucson, Arizona. She moved first, and I got caught in San Diego, and they moved me over. They brought me back to Vegas. She lived in Diego. She moved from Diego to be with me in Vegas. Then when I got sentenced, they sent me to Tucson. She moved from Vegas to Phoenix so she could be with me there. Then they moved me over to Victorville, California. She moved from Tucson, from Phoenix over there to California so she can make sure I was okay. That's my nigga in my worst case scenario. She showed up flawlessly,
Hmm.
right? And not just one time. When my kidneys failed in 2010, it was Dove that gave me her own kidney in 2011. Can't a motherfucker say nothing to me about that one. Not one, right? Because I'm here today because she gave me life for real. Went down under the knife, took a kidney out of her body and say, here, live, nigga. Yeah, can't a nigga say nothing to me. That's my nigga for real. Yeah, a bitch will give you some pussy, nigga. But a kidney? Oh. Yeah, let me just let you understand who she is to me. And because of her loyalty to me, you think I'm not gonna be loyal to her? Now, I'm an Israelite. I believe that I can have more than one wife. She also believes that I can have more than one wife. You ask me if she's cool. She's cool with it right now. But I'm just so particular about who I let up around my environment and my circumvents. You know all the powerful shit Dove and I have done these 25 years, and you think I'm just gonna let some average, regular broad be up around us when we got this high-powered shit going on? All the shit we done conquered and shit together? You think I'm just gonna let any broad because she's cute or all that shit? Man, you got to be out of your goddamn mind. It'd take an exceptional broad for us to accept. Exceptional. And I said, Dove right now understands that I believe and she believes that I could have one or two or three or whatever, however many wives I want to have, because I'm a Hebrew Israelite. And that's what we believe. And she's one too. And she believes it too. Right now, to this day. I'm not, let me tell you what, man. I don't do no lying, no none of that. I ain't never been no liar. I ain't never been no deceiver, deceit, none of that stuff. Everything that I talk about, I live.
You all right? Hey, man, I'll be right back.
All right.
Lena?
Yeah. I'm just trying to say, you know what I'm saying? So I know because a lot of dudes abroad done helped them and everything when they was in the joint and all that. But Dove was she was my kind before I went to jail. Yeah, she was my kind before I went to jail. It wasn't that I was in jail and I met some woman that maybe not might have not been my kind. And you know how cats be. They'll meet a girl because the girl is come in, but she might not be the most beautiful thing, but she come up to the prison because she knew men is in situations. She gonna have access to certain men that she wouldn't to on the street. So a dude, run with her, she run with him, and then when he get out, he go find something that he really like. I didn't have that situation because I really liked her before I went to jail. She was everything that I liked. It just so happened that she was just as dedicated as beautiful, right? So yeah, I mean, man, I got the best thing in the world, you know. Yeah, for real, for real. I don't know what happened with what's going on over there with Rosebud, but obviously got a situation. Let me see. Somebody said, What age did you that happen? Huh? Mercedes King. I don't. What age was we when we met or something? Because you trying to find out how old I am and how old she is. uh, I don't. You got to say that over again, man. Yeah. So just understand, man. Um, I remember one guy uh, came on a live of mine I was doing, and I was telling him how I think about Dove and everything. Just who she is, a woman. And he said, "Man, I'm about to call you a trick or something, man." Until you explained it. Until you explained it. I said, "Listen, man. There are certain guys that value sex, a woman twerking and all this kind of stuff. They value money. That's their value system. I value loyalty, right? I value commitment. That's something that I hold in high regard. Everybody don't think like me, right? So those things are the things that I'm looking at. And those are the things that she presented to me, right? So I'm not thinking about, so it is an honor for me to be able to do everything in the world for her. And I do. There ain't nothing that this woman, listen, man, let me tell you something, man. When I got out the jail, I didn't have no money. I had to go at one point and go back over my grandma's house. Now I was planting seeds for my life to shift and change, but all that shit was gonna happen later on. But while I was going through the
Hey,
situation,
excuse me,
just
Dre.
think
I'm
about.
sorry to cut you off,
you
man, but I got an
know,
emergency, man.
oh, okay, man,
I
go
got
ahead, loved one. I hope everything works out.
that situation I was telling you about ain't working out with my daughter.
Oh man, oh man. Okay, all right. So let me just go into Bud got a situation, man. So let me just say, man, and so I was explaining that those are the things that are priceless to me, right? It's not just no money. It's not just to be able to see how dedicated and down she was for me and how she moved everywhere. And man, I mean, that's phenomenal, man. That is phenomenal, right? And if you thought I was gonna let her outdo me, listen, man. If you thought I was gonna let her outdo me, like she was gonna show me what commitment was, you gonna show me what commitment is and loyalty is and love is and all that, and you was gonna outdo me? No, you wasn't gonna outdo me, right? We could do it as equally or something, but you wasn't gonna outdo me. I wasn't gonna be the story that a woman is talking about. She did all this, that, and the other, and then the dude ended up being a bum and he wouldn't nothing. Nah, man, because I'd never been that, right? And I'm telling her, listen, this is gonna be us. And if another broad come along and we felt like she, you know what I'm saying, is qualified or something, then we'll bring her on. But we haven't found that, and we haven't even been looking for it. I'm not looking for it. But if I wanted to go get a little broad, I'll go get a little broad. But I'm not into that, man. I'm not just bringing anybody up around what I'm doing in my life, man. It ain't gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. It'd take something and I'm not talking about a broad that's rich or no. The quality within the broad is gonna have to be there, right? And her understanding the value of the same thing I understand what value is, it's gonna have to be there, right? And me and Dove, we just ain't really seen that. Nor are we looking for it. We pressing right along and doing great shit together. For real, for real. Okay, let me get some of these other questions, man. Since I don't have Rosebud, we got time to act. We're going to make this like a Q&A today. So let's shoot. Dre, are you going to do the links for live callers like you did last week? We didn't do no live callers. I never do live callers, man. Very rarely do I do some live callers. Oh, you talking about people who come on? Yeah, I'll put the link in there if you guys want to come on. I'll put a couple links in there. You talking about link to come on the live? Yeah, I'll do that. No problem. Since Rosebud ain't here, I can bring you guys on, man. If you guys want to come on and chop it up with your boy. Okay, let me see what other things here. Because sometimes you be talking and you miss some questions, so I'm going back up. But the link is in the chat. That's right, Danny. You remember I used to make them in the car. Yes, sir. That's where I started. Let me see, man. Q. What's the best way to tell women that you're not a one-woman band? By letting them know. Let me see here, right here. All right. So, because of the culture, American culture, a lot of us most of our people have been indoctrinated by American culture and socialized by American culture. And within American culture, they have a system of things that they value, things that they don't value. So our people, not only just women but men, have come up in this system, which is not our original system. So it's not our original mindsets, right? So of course, the majority of women are going to be opposed to the idea of you having more than one woman. I think in this day and age, it's a little different, right? Hold on, Paul. Hold on, family. In this day and age, there's more people, into the poly and all this kind of stuff, right? So what I try to explain to our people is that this American culture, this American socialization has created major problems for our people. One of the problems is a lot of our uh, women are single parents and there's no men in the family. It's just a lot of reasons behind that, but people just try to blame the black man. But it's not just that. Sentencing laws and a lot of things that go along with that, right? So I often say that uh, Anton, hold on, family, hold on right there. I often say this that American culture it doesn't have the wherewithal to deal with the problems that are created within this culture. They don't have, but our original culture can deal with it. So if we was in our original culture, what I would do is I would suggest to men to take on a woman with a child. I would suggest it. I would, right? I did with Dove. I would suggest that they would take on so that our original culture that allows more than one woman, right, could take care of the issues of the single parent because I would be trying to teach us about nation building, right? I'd make the cause be bigger than you just wanting to have other women just to have sex and all this kind of stuff, right? Or your insecurity about not having a woman with a child and all that kind of stuff, right? I would explain to them that if we're going to nation build, if we're going to get our community back solid, we're going to have to start right here. And it's going to have to be some hell of a men, right? Men that are trained, men that are trained up to understand what it is to be a man, to take on some women that have children, right? Because we would have the nation build. We got to fix this problem. But within this culture, it won't never get fixed. Okay, what's up, Paul?
Man, like everything you just said there, you made me have three more questions than my original question.
That's right.
So I guess I'll start with the first one is how many how many children would you say is too many to deal with a woman that got children?
I couldn't say for another man, you know, whatever his temperament, whatever his ability is within him to take care of that. But see, right now, we are we're not the same kind of men, right? We are not the same kind of men because right now every man has such an insecurity about a woman with a child, and not only women with children, but women that's had any other boyfriend before them. If you really want to be 100, every dude be asking the girl about her past man. They be asking, would you do with him? And that's an insecurity. Everybody, all of us, is to be 100. You want to know, what did you do with the plat? And the girls have to lie because they know that the men are insecure about it. So guys want to know, how many guys were you with before me? Right? Them is the questions, right? So a girl gonna lie. Well, only about two. Because she knows that if he feels that she's been with five or above or whatever, then it's going to make him feel insecure, right? So
Right.
now we have a culture and a nation of people who are just lying to each other based upon their own insecurities. So when I teach people in the remnant, I deal with the man first, right? And I deal with the indoctrination and socialization from American culture. And I try to give them a sense of an original mind to tap into so that the value system changes. I say this in our class a lot: give them back their shit, give them back what they love, give them back what they've taught you to love, give them back what they've taught you to hate, right? Give them back what they've taught you to value. So when you start talking about an original mindset, there's certain things like I explained about Dove, how loyalty and commitment was higher than money and sex and all those type of things. So the average guy, he couldn't understand why I would be with her. Even when I was younger, I was like, I ain't gonna have no girl that have no baby, because I just felt like I'm just a catch. And I just felt that it was a loss to me to have a girl that has a baby by another man. I felt that way, and I was wrong to think that way because I was what? I was catering to my insecurities about it. I was catering. Just like when I was a teenager, I was insecure about a girl that had other boyfriends because I want to know, did he fuck you better than me? Was his dick bigger than mine? All this shit that niggas don't really talk about, but it be in the back of niggas' mind. Right? And now it's a
Mhm.
competition because I got to show the broad, ain't nobody ever gonna fuck you like I fuck you. It's just some real
Eh,
insecure, sick shit, man.
right.
Right? So, but I had to deal with that. So, because I dealt with it, I know how to help another brother deal with that to come into his manhood. So, how it happened for me, I got into the game. I didn't know that that was going to be the way that was going to make me feel different about that shit. I got into the game. And when I got into the game, you can't be in the game feeling that way, feeling like you think somebody is less than because they done had sex. I got women having sex with 1,000 men in a year. You
Hey,
see what I'm saying?
yeah.
And me and her is thinking about, man, we about to get our money. We about to, you know what I'm saying? So that shit was, my mind shifted into a different level because now I'm pimping, man.
Right.
And if a broad that's giving you thousands of dollars think that you that kind of cat, you won't have her long because all she gonna look at you as is you's a trick. Nigga, you trick ass nigga, get your bitch ass over there and go fuck with a square broad and leave this pimping and hoeing alone. See that kind of shit, because it's a
Mhm.
different subculture,
Right.
right? So you got to be on your square. That shit can't bother you. Like I said in American Pimp, the average man can't deal with the fact that his woman is with another man. But when you in this game, your mind have to be reconditioned where that got to be okay with you. And that shit can't bother you, right? So just think about a man not having no issues and problem with that. Think about how freed up he is.
Yeah.
You feel me? All
Mhm.
right.
What about how would you deal with a woman that lies or you catch her in
Uh,
lies?
I would say if I dealt with a woman that I'm not shocked because what is the reason she's lying for? Because say when somebody say that to me, I would say to them, how the broad deal with you when you lied, nigga?
Yeah.
You feel me? Because see, whenever I'm trying to put an accountability on a woman, I need to make sure that she can't put that same one on me.
Mhm.
I need to make sure of that because most times the things that guys are mad at women about, they violate themselves.
Yeah.
They violate themselves, and that's unmanly. You only got something to stand on when you has been a person that had a certain level of integrity. If you don't lie, if you don't cheat, if you are not manipulative, if you're not deceitful, then you can have an argument. But if you are violate any of those things, you can't say
Right,
nothing about the problem. You get exactly what you deserve. That's what you're
right.
putting out, and that's what you're going to attract.
So what happens when you just table all your shit, but you still get, you know, you don't get the same shit. You know, they ain't table.
Because everything is a process. We live in a microwave oven generation where we think everything is supposed to be instantaneous.
Mm,
Everything, when I get abroad, I don't expect abroad to know how to deal with me overnight. I know I'm so powerful, I'm so deep that it's going to take this broad some time to be able to develop into what I need her to be for me. See, I know that about myself. So I'm always giving the broad some time because I know that's what you're going to need in order to know how to be with an individual like me. It might take you 2 seconds to be with one of them other cats, but to deal with me, it's going to take you some time. And I give her that time just because I know who I am. But
mm.
see, dudes, they don't think that way. They think they want a broad ready made. I just did a video on that not long ago.
That's dope. I'm a mix it up just a little bit. This is my last question.
All right. Hold on,
What
man.
do
Tom,
you
we coming.
think about like what do you think about like a company that wants to do something and they gotta pass a law in order for them to do it? So they might put money over here on this side of politics and money on that side of politics. So no matter, you know, who lose, they still winning. So do you think that money matters more than the votes or the votes matter more than the money?
Well, all of it together matters, right? All of it together matters. But I know for a fact the way that I won police accountability, which people thought it was impossible for me to do, but I did. I'm the only one that have done that in the country. I lead the whole country in that changing laws on police accountability. How'd I do it? Because I spent, there go that time again. I spent so much time giving meetings to educate the population, right? Because if you don't educate the people, then that kind of stuff could happen. The only way you can control politicians is the people. But the politicians are so excited that the people are unaware. That's why they vote against their own interests many times because they're not educated about whatever the topics are, whatever the issues are. So, what I did, I took months and months and months just to educate, brought people in from different spectrums of life to educate the population. Once I educated the population, they became their own activists. Now we got power. There's something called building power in politics, but I used the education to do it. I had to educate, make them understand what the issues are, why you should be concerned about it, why you should be in an uproar about it. And this is how we fix it. That's the education, right? And once you give that education, then you can go do something and change some things. But you can't just talk to people one time and think they're gonna get it. It's just not how it happens. Just like you can't talk to no broad just one time and think they're gonna get it. You can't even talk to no dude one time and think they're gonna get it. In a multitude of counsel, there's safety. Okay, man, Paul, come back on a little later on. Let me get to Anton.
Thank you.
Love, one. What's up, family?
Hey, what's up, bro? How you doing, man?
I'm good. What's your question?
Well, I just wanted to say, you don't know me, but I do know a little bit about what you be talking about. And the one thing that go through my head pretty much every day, the one thing that you said is, before you be anything, you gotta be a man first, man.
Mm-hmm.
That really resonates.
That's what's up. Who's that talking?
Me?
Oh, go ahead. No, somebody else I let on. They had their phone. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it's sad to not see Rosebud on the call because right now, as of right now, I'm enrolled in Sidewalk University, and I can really speak for the course, man. It's
Mm-hmm.
the focus is not on learning new stuff; it's on learning new ways of using the old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like being
Mm-hmm.
yourself. Like I'm meeting a new person. Actually, it's an old person. It's me. I'm meeting me again. I'm
Yes,
learning to reconnect with myself, and it's crazy, man.
that's
You should,
beautiful, man.
yeah, man. And just one last thing I want to put on y'all, which is anybody that's like wanted to do something with their life, Maybe they want to join your course, Dre, or SW, whatever they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
You better want something and go get it, man, because there's nothing else in it for you in this life. That's all I want to say.
Beautiful, bro. I holler back. Love. Sean, Sean, you on, man? Oh, I guess he went off. Okay, let me see some of these questions, man. Have you? Let me see. Let me go back to some of these questions because I might have missed some. All right. Sean Williams, what's up, loved one? You said I don't have time to deal with a woman with kids. I disagree, and I'm going to challenge you on that. That's just my way of maneuvering. Also, I can care less what a woman does as long as she does what I want her to do when I want her. When I want her to. Okay, simplicity. Got you. Um, so sometimes people make statements like this, and I challenge them, right? I challenge those questions, right? Hold on, King. I don't see you though. I don't see you on. So he says, Sean says, I don't have time to deal with a woman. So I'm gonna ask you a question then. With kids, would you deal with a woman with kids if their name was Rihanna? So you're saying right now, because Rihanna has a child right now, you wouldn't deal with her? How about Kim Kardashian? How about any celebrity out there that has a child? All right. You say you wouldn't deal with them? I disagree with you. Right. So the circumstances have to be right. The circumstances have to be different, but you can't make a blanketed statement like that, because it's the value that changes your perspective. The value of what you perceive the woman to be that changes your perspective. All right. You think it's just a kid. No, it's not. It's the value of the woman that has a kid that will change your perspective. So you really don't believe what you're really saying. And if you want to debate it, come on, let's have some, we'll chop it up together. But I don't really believe that you believe that, because you can't tell me you wouldn't mess with Rihanna. If Rihanna would even mess with you because she has a kid. Because you might think that she's not as valuable because she has a kid, and she might not think you're valuable at all. Right. So I just think that that's not true. I think that the conditions have to be right. The value have to be right. K, you on, man? For whatever reason, you're gonna have to get back on. All right. Okay, King, you on, but I can't see you, man. If you guys want to come on, we'll make it a Q&A today. I can't see you, your phone. Turn your camera on and turn your mute off. Turn your camera on and turn your mute off. Because you probably got your mute on because I can't hear you, and you got your camera off so we can't see you. So you got to fix that and come back on, family. Okay. Yeah, rest in peace to original white folks. That's right, Tony. Remnant up in the house representing. Uh, Dre, I know you have a strong relationship with God. When someone asks you what religion you are, what do you tell them? I tell them I don't have religion. What Christians call religion, we call culture. I teach is culture, right? They teach you religion. Two different perspectives, way different perspective, right? So I don't have a religion. I have culture. It's my culture, our culture. Salute, Dre. Last night at work, I will into your audiobook, Nothing But Pimping. It seems like it's volume 1. Are there going to be a part 2 in the audiobook? Oh, yeah. I'm thinking about doing Andre Taylor versus Gorgeous Dre. I've been telling people that for several years. I just really haven't had the time. It's not going to take long. I just haven't had the time to do it, right? I want Andre Taylor to talk with Gorgeous Dre, and I want it to be an audiobook. I want it to be Gorgeous Dre at his height of the game and how he believed in it. And I want him to talk to Andre Taylor, and I want them to have this conversation. I think it'd be a powerful, powerful audiobook. Let's see. What a question is this? Wow. If the rubber suddenly pop, causing the date to be over, do you give the trick half or some of the amount of the money back, seeing that he didn't get to finish because of an inconvenience? Okay, this is a whole different question. But we don't, when I was in the game, I didn't facilitate no damn trick, right? I'm not, the broad's not, listen, man, somebody asked me a question one time, and I'm talking about from a game perspective now. I said, the women that were with me, right? This is what I say in class: bring your whole mind, okay? Bring your whole mind, right? You think I was around there feeling sorry for some tricks? I told my broads, we are the providence of God. We are. That's our position. Listen, here go the trick, right? You married, you got children, you done come on a business trip, you decided to come on our territory to do whatever you felt you wanted to do and to go home to your wife and all that. But the moment you chose to do that, you was in violation. Whatever happens within that situation, some people get robbed, some whatever happens in that situation, that's on you because you chose to cross over from what you had with you and your wife, what you promised her, and you came over to our territory. We didn't come on yours. You came on our territory. Now I'm the providence of God on my territory, right? Like he's coming here to try to use and do anything he want to do, right? He coming for his purpose. In deceit, he's coming, right? In disloyalty to his family and to his wife. Now I'm supposed to be over there and cater to the man. That's what I'm supposed to do. The bride is supposed to cater to the man. You got to be out of your goddamn mind. Who's this in the bed? What's going on? Umar.
Hey, what's up with it, man?
Man, it's all right. What's going on with it?
Man,
You on, baby? All right. Anyway, man. All right, let me put this up. I don't want to go on too much longer because this is supposed to be Rosebud and I, man. But I'll maybe take a couple more questions, man. What's your opinion about Zion Williamson's situation? Dre, I think that would be a good breakdown for young brothers. I don't really have an opinion. It goes on every day, you know. A lot of times I explain, so you growing up in the ghetto, you never had anything, right? You growing up, you never had anything. Your mama never had anything. Your grandma never had anything. Your great grandma and your grandpa, they never had anything. So you grow up and you become a football player, or a basketball player, or a rapper. The first thing you do, because you ain't never had anything before, right? The first thing you do, hold on, extraordinary gentlemen, I'll bring you on in a minute, family. The first thing you do is you start getting some jewelry. You don't get just one chain, you get 7 or 8 chains, right? You're overcompensating for what you didn't have. That feeling, of what you didn't have, that deep hole that was left in you because of what you didn't have and what you've seen others have, right? And you trying to fill that big hole in you up, right? Of what you didn't have. So that's why rappers be having all that jewelry on, because they're overcompensating for what they didn't have. And it makes them feel like when they think about all the struggles that they went through that they didn't have, they be like, God damn it, I'm about to show these mother, And it's that deep hole inside of them for years and decades and generations of being without, right? Say you weren't no handsome guy. Girls didn't like you. right? Now you become Zion Williamson, and girls automatically paying attention to him, right? Pretty girls, fine girls, whatever. He got action. They throwing himself. This is something that he never had before, but he desired it because he seen the young, handsome guys in school, and they was the ones that had all the play, but he didn't. Maybe he was playing basketball. But now he is Zion Williamson, man. Now he see himself, boy, and he feeling good about it. So he going over there and having his fun, man, right? But he didn't have the game about dealing with the women. All he had is what he didn't have. And all he has right now is what he can have. So I don't think nothing about it. It's not that people make so much of a big situation about it. It ain't really that big. It happens every single day. It's just happening on a larger level right now because it's him. It's unfortunate. He gonna learn from it and grow from it, and he'll be okay in a few years, right? Sometimes it's those things that need to happen to develop you into who you need to be. But I'm not shocked about the shit. You know, you think about the rappers, they ain't the most attractive. A lot of them ain't the most attractive guys in the world, and they got all the girls throwing themselves at them, and they begin to feel like, man, I'm fine. You feel me? Yeah, man. They be feeling like they the man, right? Because they get some action at some beautiful girls. It happens all the time, man. Yeah. Don't worry about it. He'll be all right. Extraordinary gentleman. What's up with it, man?
Hey, salute,
What's
Dre.
happening with it?
Much respect. Uh, I heard you talking about, the relationship that you have with Dove. But
Mhm.
my question in relation to that is this. For a young gentleman, what type of conversation would be necessary to build like the right chemistry to establish a foundation on that level?
Let me tell you, man, I never have gone into any kind of conversation with a female thinking that.
Mm-hmm.
You know why? Because it's already in me. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're talking about me, from my perspective, all those things is in me before the woman ever come into the equation. I love myself. I love who I am. I love the information that I have. And it's that I give every female that come in contact with me. I'm just confident about what I know. I know what I know, and I know what can do, what it could do. So I don't see a female and say, oh, because she's this, that, and the other, I'm gonna have to not be who I am. Bitch can't never make. I'm cussing. Okay, Lord, I'm sorry. Because I
It's fine.
get on this game, man. You guys get me hyped up, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah,
broad can't never make me not be who I am. Who is that? Who's the broad? I'm not.
right.
The broad can't never make me not be who I am. And if a broad ever make any one of you be who you not, then the broad got you. You ain't got the broad.
Okay.
Right? It's the fact that you are who you are and you love yourself so much and who you are that you convince the broad to love you too.
Yeah, okay,
You
okay.
feel me? Yeah, it's like when you when you selling something, man, and you a salesman, right? Say you trying to sell something and then you go into the training class about this product you're trying to sell, right? And you use the product, you be like, man, this product is the shit. But
Right.
that's before you even talk to any customer, you sold yourself. You be like, man, this shit. So now when you go talk to the customer is sold by you being sold. Yes, you might give them the spiel and all that, but it's your enthusiasm, it's your excitement, it's your experience about the product that make them be like, God dang, if he's that excited, I got to get it. That's how a broad is. A broad be damn if he believes that much in himself. If he's that excited about himself, I need to get a piece of that, right? If him being himself can make him feel like that, man, me messing with him can make me feel like that. You feel me?
Okay.
That's how I go at it. You know?
Hey, man, I appreciate that. I ain't gonna
Oh,
hold y'all
love.
up. You can get to the next one just showing love. Thank you, Dre.
Oh, fun family. Yeah. Keith, what's up with him?
What's up, Dre? What's going on, baby?
Us,
Hey,
baby, us.
that class was fire last night. They missing it, man.
They
I
missing
think.
it.
Look, it was so fire. I think you still got the fire in you right now.
Yeah, it don't never burn out, man. It don't never burn
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Got you.
I was thinking about it, man, because you said you were saying, you can out petty me, but you can't out big me.
Never.
Never. And I had an incident at work right now today.
Yeah.
And it was an incident where everybody was looking to see how I was going to react and if I was going to turn up a little bit and get upset. and it just clicked on me that man, the dude's smaller than me, man.
Man.
He's smaller. And
Man.
so the way I handled it, he came to me in a way where I couldn't even see his eyes because he was looking down.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What's going on? You all right, man?" And he had to break himself because he knew he was wrong.
Wow.
And I was just like, man, when the mindset changed, everything changed around you. So that man, the fire came from you is in me and it's going all
Hey
over the
man,
place,
hey,
man.
thank you for that testimonial, baby.
I wanted to ask you though, because like you were speaking global minded, man, and I was wondering why you think our community is so local minded versus global minded.
Well, because we have been given since we came to this country. I always say this, man. In 1619, the first slave ships came here. 1619, Jamestown. I always say that you could rest assured them brothers that came out off that ship was not accepting that they was no goddamn slave. You could rest assured. They was resistant to any idea that they was less than. You could tell they was because so many of our people jumped off the goddamn boats.
Right.
Right? Because they couldn't see themselves as being what these slave catchers, right, have enslaved our people. They was like, I'm none of that. I'd rather die.
They were trying to identify them as something that they knew they wasn't.
They knew they wasn't.
Yeah.
Then what happens after 30 years in the country when our people are being born up into all of what they know, when the whole country around them is telling a baby born up after 30 years of being here, people are being born, our people, and you born into a society that's saying you ain't even no full man. You ain't no full person. As a matter of fact, you a slave. As a matter of fact, it's a law that you are a slave. As a matter of fact, it's a law that if you run from slavery, you are a criminal. As a matter of fact, you ain't even got no mind. As a matter of fact, you can't even read. If you try to go read, we're going to kill you because it's against the law for you to read, right? So now our people are growing up not having no point of reference to them brothers that came off the ship the first time. They don't know nothing about them cats. They don't know nothing about the fire in them cats because most of them cats are killed off because they was resistant.
They was dogs. Yeah.
Ooh, you feel me?
Yeah.
Now, you growing up and you don't know nothing about, you ain't got no point of reference to that kind of mind.
That's why I appreciate how you brought Rosebud and yourself together on the platform, because I feel like I was born in the 80s. So my generation, there's a gap between Rosebud and then is yours and is mine, so it's like that gap, we don't get to hear what they were saying, like you had your dad. So a lot of us didn't have that gap is missing. Because I know like my mother and my folks, they was trying to get the money and trying to figure it out in a system that, like you said, it wasn't always favorable to them. And but that gap, we missing the information. We getting wiser but weaker.
Man.
And so that strength that they possess, them old, them dogs, man, they had it. Yeah. So
man.
and they was willing to do it if they had to do it, they'd do it.
Please
and we got some out here. We got the remnant out here, but yeah, man, that's because I'm hearing a lot of the women this and people, the men complaining about the women, and I'm saying to myself, when did we need all this validation from women?
Cold, man.
What happened that all this validation come? What about, like you said, how much do you love yourself?
Sure.
So you don't love yourself that much that you're gonna compromise for her?
Right.
When you've been with you since
all
day one.
Life.
Yeah,
that's real. That's real, man. And that's true, man. Like I've said this before, but I'm gonna say it again. I said that I've had some clients come to me and say to me, man, hey man, if my girlfriend would have did this, I would have did this, and this. I would have did anything for her. And then I would tell them, bro, don't ever say that to me again. They'd be like, man, Dre, you tripping, man. I said, no, man, I ain't tripping. I said, man, don't say that ever again to me, man. I was like, man, what you really saying is that in order for you to be a man, you need her to be a woman. You're really saying, when you saying, if she would have did this, I would have did that, you saying in order for you to be a man, you need her to be a woman. Man, your manhood can't be predicated upon what the broad do, good or bad. It's inconsequential to your manhood. Miss her, all that shit, man. Who are you, regardless of what the broad gonna do or not gonna do? It don't change you. Don't ever say that shit again. If she would have did this, I would have did this. You might as well put on the skirt and let her be the man then, if she got that much more power over you.
Right.
That's real, man.
Yeah. What would you say to the person that, because like yourself, how you reach success and heights and just phenomenal, and we got a lot of people that have made it, done it, and been successful for themselves. What would you say to the people that say, it's a victim mentality to bring up certain things when you got this guy and this guy that's doing it, and you saying that you can't do it because of whatever complaints you have? What do you say to the people that may say you got a victim mentality?
If someone says you have a victim mentality about what now?
You know how they throw that at them.
Yeah, but about what specifically though?
Like, okay, like when you said we come from, our history as a people, we come from slavery, we come from this, and some people may say, well, Dre, it ain't stop him.
Right.
It didn't stop Rosebud. It didn't stop Michael Jordan, or anybody on the name of honor. It didn't stop them. So what's your excuse?
Well, my whole thing is that, like you've already pointed out, right? That missing transference of the information that your generation didn't have, because white folks strategically put something in place for that to happen, sentencing laws and the war on drugs and all that. And a lot of the men that would have passed that information down, they're incarcerated. And that was strategic. So now you got a lot of young men growing up by their mothers. And I love the black women and for whatever they was able to do, but you can't show no young man how to be a man, right? You can only be a man, but you can't show him how to be no man. So now what we have is a culture of a lot of young black men emotionalized because they identify strength on what they seen from their mother. So their mothers were, God gifted women to be emotional, not men. He gifted men to deal with things through reason, gifted women to deal with things through emotions. And so when they're operating like that, they're operating within who they are. But in you watching that growing up, so your mama's cussing somebody out, your mama's saying in her house, I don't need no goddamn man, and yada, yada, yada. And you as a youngster's hearing that. And so you begin to internalize that same thing as your mama, not knowing that it's feminine characteristics.
Right.
Because that's what you see around you. So now when somebody is walking down the street and they accidentally step on your feet, now you're going to act like your mama, but you don't know like you acting like your mama.
You emotionally respond.
Yeah, you think that you acting tough because your mama was boisterous and she going to cuss you out and she going to tell you about something, right? You never had your daddy around to tell you, boy, men don't operate like that. We reason and we think through things, right? When you get to the emotional part, you stop the thinking part. And that's going to cause you a bad decision. But he ain't seen that. So now when he grow up, he ain't got no kind of respect for no man. How could he have respect for a man? He ain't never seen a man in his household. He ain't never seen what it looks like. He ain't never seen a man govern over his house, take care of his mama, take care of him. So he ain't never had a reason to value a man because he ain't never knew why I should. Why should I value a man? I ain't never even known what it is. So that's why it's so easy for a young black man to kill another black man, because he ain't got no value what a man looks like. You see what I'm saying? But it ain't his fault. So when he come to the class, I explain all these things to him so that he can be aware, right? So he can be aware. It ain't your fault. It is your fault if the information come to you and you reject it. But I'm gonna help you through it, bro. Yeah, family.
Hey, salute, Dre, man. I ain't gonna take up everybody's time. Much love to everybody, man. they on there saying, man, we came for the pimping. We ain't want to hear all this. So I'm gonna go ahead and get off and
Yeah.
appreciate you, man. And I see you in class.
Okay, one. Nigga, this is a part of the pimping. That's your goddamn problem, weak ass nigga. Fix your. That's just like I just said when the dudes say, man, if my girl would have did this, I would have did that. Nigga, you know why I'm so goddamn powerful? Because the pimping requires more than you sending a little broad. It requires you to be a Renaissance man to get information from every place you can get it from. So you can be well-rounded and be able to communicate. Nigga, how did I change laws, nigga? You think I changed laws just by knowing how to send abroad? No, nigga, because I had broad information. I'm on my motherfucking page talking about you here for the pimping. Nigga, I am the pimping. Nigga, now what? And everything I talk about have to do with game. Square ass niggas. Come up on my page talking about, go over to somewhere else, nigga. What are you talking about, nigga? What's up, Melvin?
What's up? I came in to show love because the last time I was here, I didn't get time. I didn't get time to show love. So appreciate you actually hosting us.
Appreciate you, family, for that.
Yeah, I got a couple questions that I would like to ask. For example, have you ever lost abroad? You get what I'm saying? Have you ever had a renegade? And what were the situations that prompted the broad? Did you see the signs ahead of time? What were the signs that the broad started exhibiting before she actually departed from the pimping?
So when I was in the pimp lifestyle, of course I
Hmm.
lost abroad. Anybody that's in the game, we know that go along with the territory.
Hmm.
So you gonna get knocked, right? You gonna get knocked,
Hmm.
right? You ain't never pimped unless you've been knocked before, right? You've
Hmm.
never even pimped. You've never pimped if you never leaked before. I know some guys being there talking about, I ain't never leaked before because you ain't never pimped. The game got to see who you going to be. The game got to see what kind of lining you going to have in your stomach, how true you going to be to it. Okay, so now you ain't
Hmm.
got no pride, you ain't got no money. What you going to do? Go home? You going to tuck your tail or you going to tough it out? You going to tough it out, right? So those situations got to happen to qualify you and who you going to be, right? So of course I lost a
Yeah.
pride. But I don't be like thinking about, thinking about losing abroad because I know that come with the territory. So I don't put too much energy in it. I put energy in being who I am. And hopefully the broad like who I am. Now, sometimes the broad might like something else about somebody else. Mm-hmm.
So I heard you saying that you were once at your lowest point, right? For example, when the cops came after you and everything like that. How did you find peace in the midst of all that chaos? In the midst of all that disaster, how were you able to find peace and happiness? How were you able
Because
to persist?
because before I got into the game, before I got into the lifestyle, I resolved myself. What does that mean? That means that I understood the consequences that can come along with the lifestyle that I've chose because white folks made a law against what I do or what I did. I haven't done it in 25 years of what I did, right? And I said, okay, well, what can come along with this? Well, prison can come along with this. Sometimes death can come along with it. Are you willing to take those kind of consequences? Yes, I am. So once you come to the place that you are resolved, that means you've made your mind up that no matter what the situation is, that you're willing to pay the consequences that go along with the life you choose, like I said in American Pimp. So it had been different if I had gotten to the situation, young Melvin, and I hadn't made my mind up. Then the situation would have terrified me because of what I could have lost. But when you make your mind up way ahead of time, the situation don't terrify you. You know that come along with it. And I told myself I'll be willing to go along with whatever consequences that I have. So I was resolved from the gate. Hold on, wait 1 second. So that's what that was, man.
So, for example, now, I
One
was
more question.
trying to ask one more question. I'm sorry. Have you ever been in a situation where the power herders, right? They're unreasonable. They don't have the ability to listen or engage in a conversation, and they have radically different mentality from you. So you can actually connect with them in any form of way. How did you handle that kind of situation where they're unreasonable, they're emotional, and
Who
they feel like
the who
no,
now?
the power holder, like let's assume, for example, America is being run by the wealthy, right? And they
Okay,
have
go
the
ahead. I got
power,
you. Okay, go ahead.
and you are trying to upgrade in, let's assume, a situation that you're in, but this power holder is unreasonable,
Hmm.
right? Emotional,
Sure.
and doesn't want to listen to like logic.
Okay, let
They
me give
don't
it to
want
you.
to listen.
I think I know what you're saying. When I first came
Yeah,
to Seattle, when I first came
yeah.
to Seattle, right?
Hmm.
Um, Black people didn't want to support me because of my past, right? They didn't want to
Yeah.
support me because of my past. And then what I would say to them, what I would say to Black people right now, I would say to Black people right now, because they wonder how I did what I did. And I said, because I wasn't acting like you guys. What do you mean you wouldn't acting like us? Well, because you present yourself as a victim to them. You go to
Oh,
them folks and you go asking them why they doing what they doing. I don't go to them asking why. As a matter of fact, I have over 400 years observing their character, how they think, and what they do. So I'm not shocked about how they think, their character, and what they do. And because I know them so well, I don't take energy what Black people take the energy out of. Why they do this? They're unfair. They're this, that, and the other. I don't put no energy in that. I already know how they're gonna act. So because I already know how they're gonna act, I'm already setting up a strategy because I know how they're gonna act. While every other Black person's over there asking why they're doing this to us. And I tell them, because they got in the goddamn position doing it to you. What do you mean you keep asking them why they doing it to you? They got in the position of power doing it to you. And you can't come before no empire crying. They don't respect victims, they respect power. So you got to learn how to build power and come before those people and stop asking them for a goddamn thing. And you build power and you tell them what you want done. That's how I got done what I did, because I knew how to build power and I wasn't around there crying, asking why white folks keep doing this to us, because I know white folks got in the position doing it to us. All right, man, I got to go to the next person, Melvin. All love.
thank you so much. Appreciate you. All love.
Uh, Sirism, what's up with it, loved one? I can't hear you. Got to turn your mic on.
Okay.
There you
Okay. Can
go.
you hear me?
I can hear you now.
You, I'm trying this new Bluetooth joint, man. You can hear
I
me?
can hear you. You good. You
Cause
good.
we're right on, man. Cause you know what I mean. We used to be stomped down on that line, man. Pine
Yes,
and poke.
sir.
You
Yes, sir.
understand me? But what I'm saying, being a man is a whole nother thing. A lot of you guys, you don't know nothing about leaking. Leaking. We speaking Chinese arithmetic to you. You don't know about being holus and dolus. So you
Yeah.
need to just get a BA. Maybe you need an AA. You need to go to junior college with the game. You ain't
Right.
even ready for the masters or the PhD of the game. That's the game that Gorgeous Dre and Rosebud make you pay for. You
Man.
know, upper echelon megalodons. I'm talking about the whales. You know, we eat sharks. So salute to the game. Salute to y'all, man. I appreciate y'all been coming on with this spotlight, man. It's been all good. Keep the game flowing. Keep these young men knowing that. See, the thing is, a P man. He was the ultimate form of a gentleman. He was
Sure.
the ultimate form of a man. See what I'm saying? They always talking about this thing they got now, Dre. This modern woman, this modern. Yeah, in our time it was modern women. See,
Right.
but right now they talk about female hypergamy. See, but you gotta practice male hypergamy, man. You gotta think more of yourself, Jack.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
gotta think more that you are the Don Dada. You
Right.
understand me? You gotta feel like a woman should submit to you. But a lot of you young brothers, are you something to submit to? You
Right.
got to have your campaign, your game together if you want to get elected. Because that was the time when we used to be around that yeah, campaigning, man, to get elected.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What you got? What he known for? Oh, what he ride? what
Yeah.
he in. That was all part of the game. That was all part of the charisma, the charm. Oh, how his women look. Oh, they hair stay done. Oh, they got on nails. Oh, they keep a fur coat for my players on the East Coast, on the West Coast. Oh, she had a female Rolex. He got the male Rolex. It was something to behold, to have. Not all this fugazi stuff that they doing now.
Right.
So a lot of people don't want to believe in the game, but I would just call it intuition, Mac tuition. Believe in yourself
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
before you trying to be a P and all this other stuff. Forget all that. Forget all that.
Right.
Just control one woman, brother, because you brothers are having a hard time with one woman, let
Right.
alone trying to have a stable of women. Okay, it take a mastermind that control his mind and he control 3, 4 other people.
Right.
Okay, so come to the classes, man, and enjoy the lessons, man. Don't forget your books, man. Don't be over there talking crap with your friends and you dropped your books and you jumped on the bus and you left your lesson behind, man. You
Right.
understand
Right.
me? But what's going on, Dre, man? I just want to say, man, salute to the
Man,
gang.
I love it, man. It's all well, man. Thank you for them blessings, loved one.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. You did, and God has blessed you, man, that you was able to overturn some things in your city. Some tragedy with your brother can become triumph.
Yes, sir.
So a brother right now that's locked behind the bars that might be listening to this, that's doing 10, 20, you can see between me and Dre, we got action. You might don't know me, but you know Dre and you know his story. He done made a comeback, minor setback for the major comeback, man.
Yeah.
And he still got his woman that been down. I've been telling these guys on my thing, Dre, you need to be with a woman about 1,000 days.
Mm-hmm.
1,000 days, that's a good litmus test for a broad, man. Then you know you got something, man.
Yeah.
What you think about that?
Yeah. I normally say about 3 years, about a year or two, but I always say that for that first 6 months to a year, I'm gonna be challenged more than I've ever been challenged in my life because the female only have a point of reference to males that she's been with before me. So then she believes all men are the way the men she's been with, right? So she's never really met nobody like me,
Okay.
right? So in order for
Okay.
me to give her a different point of reference, she's gonna have to learn me. She's gonna have to study me. She's gonna have to see
Mhm.
operating
Mhm.
from her so that she can have a different point of reference. So she can begin to say, well, man, I thought that was some man shit, but that wasn't man shit at all, right? Because all she knows is by what a man is
Mhm.
through her
Mhm.
situations. And that's why the majority of things come out of
Mhm.
women's mouth is what? Men are all dogs. That's because they ain't never met a man.
Right.
Because if she met one man, she couldn't make
Right.
a statement. She would say, well, a lot of men are dogs, but I didn't had a man before.
Right.
But the broads are saying men are all dogs, right? That's a
Right.
reflection of our culture of black men today. That's a reflection on us,
Yeah.
right? That's the
Yeah.
reflection of some nigga over there saying in the chat, he just come for the pimping. That's exactly what she's talking about.
Mhm.
That's all you ever want to know is
Mhm.
something. You can't know a pimping because an American pimp, if you guys know, what did I say to you? You guys don't listen. I said before you become a pimp, you got to be a man.
Come man. Yeah. Yeah.
So for
Yeah. But
you,
see, that be their only point of reference, Dre. That be
that's
their
right.
only point of reference from what they seen. So you got to show the woman something different, man. So a lot of
Definitely.
guys, to me, they want a ready-made woman. A lot of my young P's that I
It
talk to,
don't
when
exist.
I dip out every now and then, and I jump out and get in the circle and be like, "What's happening?" And they say, "Oh man, all these bras is fitting ass. All these
Right.
bras ain't about this." I say, "Well, ain't y'all training them?"
Right.
So that means y'all ain't good trainers.
At
That means
all.
you ain't putting this woman through a litmus test. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Before I got to, my dog I don't want to put women as dogs, but she
Right.
used to run wild. But
Right.
now I got her no chain. And I
Right.
tell her to sit down, she sit down. But it took me time to put in that work. A lot of guys don't want to put in no work, Dre.
See, let me just say this. For a guy that might have heard that, he might have heard that differently, right? He said
Okay.
you said that when you tell a woman to sit down, she sit down. But let me unpack that for you guys out there that's listening, because I don't want you going out there talking about I'm gonna make a woman sit down, she's gonna sit down. I want you to
Mhm.
know where that comes from. Where that comes from is that he's lived something in front of his woman, and that developed trust in her for him. So now every time he's speaking, she's not being resistant to what he's saying because he done lived something in front of her that makes her trust him, right?
Mhm.
So she know every
Mhm.
word that he's saying is only for her good. He could be telling her to sit down because of fucking something that's coming in the way, about to pop her in her goddamn head, right? But because she developed something with him based upon what he showed her, she developed trust. So there was a situation the other day when I was in one of the classes, and Dove had said something, and I corrected her, checked at her, or whatever. And some of the guys were saying, "Man, that was awesome how that situation happened, and you checked Dove, and it was like she took it." And I said, "Because Dove trusts me. She trusts me." See, you guys don't understand what you got to build in a woman to get her to a place where she takes down. I'm not demanding for no broad to take down. Bitch, you gonna do this or you gonna do that. That ain't who I am. I'm so cold with it is that a woman is going to desire to be that way to me. I desire to be that way. See, like I desire to submit myself before the Most High, she gonna desire to submit herself to me, right? Why do I submit myself to the Most High? You know what? Because I trust Him and I know that He loves me, right? So you will never have a problem out of a woman, talking to the youngsters out there, if the broad trusts you and she know you love her. That way she knows that you ain't gonna never intentionally do anything to hurt her and to harm her.
Oh man, you said some powerful things in that whole soliloquy. But the love, man, these guys don't even love themselves. They
At
don't even
all.
have no inner confidence.
They really
When
don't.
they down, they think that's it. Okay.
Mhm.
You know, a real P is a minor setback for the major comeback, man. And a real man, like you was in the worst situation that you could be, and you
Sure.
made a comeback from that. But you have to have that inner strength as a man. And then a
Mhm.
woman can believe in you. A lot of guys be like, "Oh, I gotta make 100,000 in order to get a woman that really want to deal with me." No, man, you can make 20,000 and
Right.
you get a broad that make 100,000. They
Mhm.
don't think that's possible.
Right.
But if you can bring something to the table, I am the table. You know all this modern stuff they got going on with the black relationships. And I
Mhm.
keep telling brothers, if you don't get a woman to submit, then you must have quit. You must let that woman go.
Mhm.
You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Because I need a woman that brings something to the table. Now I don't, mind a brother taking care of his woman and doing things, but at least have that woman willing to do things for you. Your woman gave you an organ. I'm just saying, a woman should be like, "Well, I got the concert tickets, baby. Hey, I'll pay for this," and then you got a good brawl. I know that's old school, but we used to make a woman bring something, but now with the OnlyFans and the this and the that, and they think that a brawl, you got to bring something for a brawl to be with you. It used to be like, no, no, that's a good man. I'm finna get with him. Oh, he ain't got no chick. Oh, I'm finna get with such and
Sure.
such. I
Sure.
know how he handled his business.
Sure.
But
Sure.
now they put more emphasis on the brawl than they self.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a cold world, man. It's a cold world. Let me get one of these
Yeah,
questions.
man. Yeah,
Bro.
man. Yeah, man. But if you, it,
Go ahead. What you
okay.
gonna
No, I just was saying that the tables is kind of flipped, and men need to get back to their masculinity. That they say
say? Can't
sometimes
get
my
back.
game is old,
They
but
can't
but
get
but
back.
back in the Shaft days, in the black exploitation, we had black men that were strong, and they were the winners of the fight in the movie. Now guys are like kowtow to the woman just because she has some breasts in the behind.
Well, men were strong, yes, and men are violent today. Strong then, violent now.
Mm.
And they think that that's strength, but it's not strength, right? It's weakness,
Right,
right?
right. Yeah, no one wants to stand down. I mean, we used to have a Mac off and we
Yeah,
would roast each other, but it would make me better. Like back in the day, you would say, hey, sirism, them gators. I
right.
mean, them lizards, them
Mm,
ain't gators. And so
right.
I knew I had to spend $400 for the lizards, but I had to step my game up for $1,500 to get to the gators.
The
And
whole,
not I want to shoot you
right.
because you talking down to me. It was to make me step my game up.
Yeah, absolutely. And then see that's superficial because that I mean that it happens though. That plays out in the game, but it even goes deeper than that, man. Much
Mhm.
more deeper than that, man. But I can't get into that. That I'll save that for class. But I'm gonna get to a
Okay.
couple of questions, man. I appreciate you getting on and all that love, family.
Hey man, nothing but love, man. Always a pleasure. Salute to Dre and the
Salute.
game.
Okay,
Forever, loved one.
one. Uh thank you for that C note, Joseph. Blessings, Dre. Don't think about walking in the door, just walk in the door. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, I'm going to answer this question here. Here's a link in there if you guys want to come in there. Godly Savage Beast says, so you build power by education and bring people together through education. Um, I can go, I would need to go into it a lot more, but I can give you some surface stuff, right? Gotta get in the class though. So building power is this, right? Um, the system has defeated our people and continually do to this day, right? And other minority groups as well. Powerful, right? And I said that the system does not respond to victims or victim mentality because they're an empire. What are empires? Every empire have conquered lands and people. That's what they do. The Roman, the Syrian, all the empires have conquered lands and people. That's what they do, right? America conquered lands and people. That's what they do, right? We were one of the people that were conquered, right? We were enslaved, but they did that by force, right? Brought us here by force and did all these things by force because they have the power and the military and all that, right? So they got into the position of power by doing what they've done to us and our people, right? And other people around the world. There's not, most of these indigenous islands, indigenous places face the same fate that we have, right? They were conquered. You feel me? So now when you're dealing with an empire, you can't go to the empire and say, why are you doing this to us? Because what you're not realizing is that they got into the position doing it to us and to others. That's how empires operate. They conquer lands and people. So in order for you to get any kind of action, you have to build power because that's what they respond to, power. That's what they respect, power, right? So in politics, it's something called building power, right? It's not a term that's used in our community, but in white communities is a term that's used when you're talking about building campaigns. So building power. So how did I build power? I went to every race of people in the city. I went to Mexican organizations. I went to Native organizations. I went to Asian Pacific Islanders, white, you know what I'm saying? And I brought them all together. How did I do that? How did I build power? Well, my brother was killed by the police, right? So in every race, somebody was killed by police, white people, Asian people, Mexicans, Samoans, natives. So I took their families and put them at the forefront and allowed them to tell their story. So you got white families telling the same story that we were telling from my brother. You got Asians family telling the same stories that the white families were telling. You got Natives family telling the same story that the Asian families was telling. And Samoan families telling the same thing. So then you got all these families telling the same story from different races. And I'm speaking to everybody in the city saying that if you think that you're white or Asian or that this escapes you, it doesn't, because this is not a black problem. This is an American problem. So I broadened it out to be more than just a problem for us. So now those families, what they did, they allowed, the white family allowed white people to know that this could happen to you. The Asian family allowed them to know it could happen to you. The Mexican family, and on and on and on and on, right? So then white people weren't fighting for us. They weren't coming rallying for black people like they normally do. They was fighting for white people because they said this is happening to us. Asians were fighting for Asians, right? Samoans was fighting for, everybody was fighting for themselves. You might help another race, but you ain't gonna fight as hard when you're fighting for yourself. So I connected all those families, and all those families connected every race together, right? So now when we went before the police, I wasn't asking them for nothing. I wasn't crying about nothing. I demanded something. Why? Because I had everybody behind me. I built power. And from that power, we commanded what we wanted. And we had the people to make sure, right, that if they didn't do what we want to do, we was going to take action. And we did take action. And they all submitted. But it took this here. You see them little guys in there talking about they came here for the pimping and they couldn't appreciate the genius that I'm giving, the brilliance to be able to do what hasn't been done in this country. A black man that comes from my condition, my background, born from a pimp and a prostitute, to develop the kind of mind that I did. Do you understand? So when you come on this page, you come to get educated. Yes, we're going to talk about some game. We're going to talk about some manhood. We're going to talk about some politics. See, in my class, we cover everything because I'm interested in building the whole man, that he's a conqueror in every area of his life and not one area that he's not conquered and not one area that he haven't submitted underneath him. That's what I empower the black man and the black woman to be able to do. And so I have to be informed about a lot of things in order for me to be able to achieve my objective, is making us as the remnant that powerful. So if you're looking for something else, this is not the place for you. Carry your ass on somewhere else, because I'm only here for the remnant. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is serious business to me. Carry your ass on somewhere else and go look at some broads twerking somewhere, or go hear somebody out there that keep talking about how powerful they are, but I got the receipts and they don't. Go on over there somewhere, because we ain't pressed over here. I want people that want to get and want to be built in every capacity to submit everything in their life, not just no woman stuff, but everything. That's what we on over here. You know, carry your ass on somewhere. This ain't for you. All right, who coming on being with Dre? And I'm about to go in a minute. Dang, I've been on here for an hour. Man, I'm about to get up out of here. I might take one more question. Let me see. Don't get offended, Dre, but they say you never really know what a woman is doing to make extra money out there. So my question is, what made you able to freely kiss your hoes in the mouth without worry? Because I was a pimp and I didn't have a square's mind. That statement wouldn't even come up in my mind. No, you may not know what a woman is doing because you ain't got the information to teach a woman what's valuable to us, because you are coming from a square perspective. So I would never expect for you to even understand, right? That's why you was a square and we was pimps and we was in this lifestyle, in this subculture. I often say that the black community is a subculture and the pimp life is a subculture within that. Kind of like the mob, the mafia, where there's rules, there's guidelines, there's regulations, and how we live our lives, like the mafia. The average world don't understand it. The average world might not even agree to it, but we don't give a damn about what they think about us. But the participants in the lifestyle understand how it goes. You don't know everything that goes on the mafia and how they think and what they value and what they don't value. See, you value what you value from a square's perspective. Look at the statement. Don't get offended, Dre. I'm not offended. When you see me fiery, that's not offense, that's passion, right? Don't get offended, Dre. You talking to a man that changed law in this country. And police and everybody in the news media and major media outlets that see millions of people around the world calling me out, talking bad about me. What the hell you think I'm gonna be offended by what the hell you say? I done had credible organizations try to get at me, and I didn't falter then. Don't get offended. Come on, bro. Come on. Anyway, but they say you never really know what a woman is doing to make extra money. You don't know what a woman is doing to make extra money, right? You don't. But when a broad come to me and I'm in the game, I want you to make some extra money. That's exactly what I want you to do. You squares kill me. What made you able to freely kiss your hoes in the mouth without worry? Because my hoes was monsters, little nigga. Monsters. You only got a perspective from TV. You ain't never ran into a professional. You think about how I am, and you think about a woman that's with me for 3, 4, 5 years up underneath who I am, up underneath this fire, and think about how she is. I had monsters They wasn't playing. They valued themselves. You got the different kind of value. Your value system was different from mine. I valued the commitment and what we did for a living. We wasn't stuck on sex. We was way above that. Squares are stuck on sex, so you limited. Do you understand? You limited. And it's like trying to teach, like they said in American Pimp. I don't forget who said it. Astrophysics to somebody who just is ignorant. But I'm not mad at you. You just don't know. All right. What's going on, loved one?
What's up, Dre?
Oh, it's all good, man. What's
I
happening?
just came on here because I made that comment earlier about the woman with the kids and all that, and I said
Yeah,
you right. If I see value in it, when you said that, it makes sense, you know. Yeah. So
yeah.
the teacher,
Because, Rihanna knock you on off real fast.
boy, hey, without a doubt. But like
You
you
feel
say,
me?
but when she come for the king, she bet not miss.
At all.
And
At all.
you know what I'm saying? That's all came on here to say. But I got one.
Okay,
I
Jimmy.
remember when you
Go ahead. Go ahead.
You was talking about on the Daily Fires a couple of years ago. You was talking about the guy when he was locked up. He was like, "Hey, Dre, you a bitch," like that. He was like, "Hey, man, fine, okay, but you character flawed, basically."
Mm-hmm.
And I had a situation when somebody said something to me, but I thought about what you said, and you was like, "Hey, you can't just go off of what somebody said to you. You can't just blow up and all that. You got to keep your cool, basically." And
Mm-hmm.
I thought about that, and I kept my cool, man. So them daily fires really help. I go back to them and I look at them, and they really help
Yeah.
me out, man, with my life. You know what I'm saying? Because
That's a blessing.
I'm big, like you say, I'm big, and what an elephant look like running from an ant. You know?
Boy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes, sir.
Love you, boy.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you bringing me on, and I'm definitely watching.
That's what's up. Love, holla back.
Love.
One. Okay, I'm gonna see what other question here, and then I'm gonna go, man. Every black man today isn't meant or called to go through the streets. Absolutely. As every slave wasn't brave enough to flee from the plantation. Absolutely. What advice can you give for those who are? Uh, what advice can you give for those who are in the streets? Um, I often say this, man. I learned something, man. Christianity, when I used to be a Christian way back when I was a teenager, you know, they make you feel a certain kind of way. And I think one of the worst things that Christianity makes you feel like is that you have to clean yourself up first before you come to God, right? And then their idea of God is so warped, right? It's just off. I don't believe like that because God has been dealt with me in a whole different way. This is what I teach, right? Freedom from that ideology and that condemnation, right? Because God was with me in the pimp game. Now, see, a bunch of Christians right now done lost the victory by me even saying that because they don't know. And just like youngsters didn't know when he asked a question about, a lot of you don't know what a lot of girls out there is doing to make some extra money and all that because he just didn't understand. Just like Christians, they just don't understand. My problem with the Christians, and I've explained this, my class know this, the remnant know what I'm about to tell you. What's the major problem? The major problem is that Christianity has told you as a black person that you are a stranger, that you're in the world without God, and that you are a Gentile, that you're a Gentile and you need God. And what they do, they tell you that if you don't listen to what they're saying, they're going to go to jail. I tell my class that that's insulting to mention God and hell. And I'm getting somewhere. I'm going to get to your question, right? When you mention God and hell in the same statement, it's insulting because I don't teach religion like Christianity or that you are a stranger. I teach that you are an actual descendant, that you are a descendant of Abraham, that we are the original people of God. And all through the scriptures, it points references to that, right? And I see you are not a stranger. You are a part of the family of God, right? And I always make this example. I said, for instance, I have a son, Kylan, my little boy. I love him, right? And Kylan has a friend. I love his friend through my son, right? I said, but when my son has a problem, my son comes to me. Dad, this is my problem. You know why? Because my son knows that his daddy gonna be there for him beyond a shadow of a goddamn doubt. I'm coming to see about my boy, right? Now, if my son's friend has a problem, he ain't got that kind of confidence to come to me because he's a stranger. Well, that's what Christianity has taught you. Christianity has taught you that you're a stranger. So your confidence level is different when you're a stranger versus you a part of the family. My son comes to me with ultimate confidence, knowing that my dad's about to come see about me, right? And Christians tell you got to have faith. Why? Because strangers would have to have faith. Because my son's friend would have to have faith before he came to me to ask me to help him. When my son, faith is embedded in me and his relationship. It is not without our relationship. It is embedded within our relationship. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's embedded. So he ain't got to have faith because he's beyond faith and that I'm going to do something for him. He knows because that's what happens when you're a part of the family. But they've taught you, black man, black woman, that you are a stranger, that you are a Gentile, not that you are a descendant. I know I'm a descendant. And when I come to the Most High, it ain't like a stranger. It ain't like my son's friend with trepidation and fear, wondering, I don't know if if Mr. Taylor's going to do something. I don't even believe he will. Kylan don't even think that one bit. He comes and he knows daddy's about to see about me, whatever the issue is. You see? So that's what I teach the remnant, that this is culture for us. It is religion to them. So there's something they're going to miss, like my son's friend. He's just not going to have the same thing that my son is going to have. And that's what they've taught you since you've been in this country. And that's why religion hasn't done anything for you, right? But that's why culture will make the difference. It is your culture that you are reading about. So when you begin to devour them scriptures, you're devouring it with a different mind, with my son's mind, not with my son's friend's mind. Right? And everything changes, everything shifts, everything is illuminated, everything opens up. Right? So, with that being said, you ask, what do you say to somebody that is called to go through the streets? I'm saying that God is not looking no difference at you. He want to be right there with you because he was there with me and he brought me out of the vice. But there was something in that he wanted me to learn, and I got that. Right? So I want you to be cognitive of the fact that no matter where you at, that he's right there, and acknowledge him right there with you, right? Because he chose me to talk to you for that reason, so that I can declare to you the Most High is right there with you, bruh. Yeah, you selling drugs. Yeah, you might be pimping. Yeah, you might be whatever, but the Most High is with you right there. That's when you develop your relationship. That's when you know who you are. You don't get cleaned up to know. It's you knowing that gets you cleaned up. You feel me? That's what I want to say to you. Okay, guys, I'm done, man. You know, I've been in here damn near 2 hours with you guys. At any rate, see you guys in the Remnant class. How to become a Remnant member. We do classes Monday and Friday every single week. Monday and Friday every single week. The classes are at 7 o'clock West Coast time, Pacific Standard Time. The classes are $50, right? And when you pay $50, that's for a month. That means you get those classes twice a week for a whole month for the $50. And not only that, I open up all the classes that you missed. I don't say I'm going to start you off from the time that you became a member. No, the moment you become a member, you have access to all the classes that you have missed, the hundreds of classes that you have missed, right? I open them up to you. so that you can go get all that information and you can eat as much as you want and you can devour as much information as you want. And like I say, we talk about everything. We're not limited over here because I want to build the whole man with power, right? And there's a whole bunch of people out there talking, people with hundreds of thousands of subscribers and all that. I'm not into numbers. I'm here for the remnant. I'm here for them, that select few. I'm not here for the many. I'm here for the select few. You understand me? If you that quality select few, maybe you want to be a part of the remnant because that's what I'm giving. These things are the things that I'm teaching. Okay? Mondays and Fridays. Every week, Mondays and Fridays. That's when the class starts. And boy, you're going to see. You guys just got a little bit. We go way deeper in. Go get you them classes over there. All right? And Rosebud, you guys got to go to him. AskRosebud.com. Ask Rosebud at Ask Rosebud. You know, go there, axrosebud.com, and consult him about how to be a part of Sidewalk University. SWU, Sidewalk University. That's Rosebud's. You guys go support him, you know. Go support Rosebud. You see how niggas be in the game? This is how it's supposed to be, right? I ain't got to be trying to say it's all this, all that. No, I told you the things that I talk about. Sometimes people are not comfortable with those things. And I'm telling you that between Rosebud and I, you're going to find something that you need. So go mess with Rosebud. AskRosebud.com. And then he'll give you all the information you need to get involved in his class. Or it's not his class. Well, it is his university and how he operates with his university. And he already told you he done extended it and brought some more information in there for you guys. So be a blessing. All right. I love you guys. Remnant members, love you guys. Thank you for representing. I'll see you guys on Friday. Some of you I'll see tomorrow because I do a class also on IG, right? And I do a class on OnlyFans as well. So I do them class. I stay busy. Right. And I don't talk about the same subject. So if I talk about a subject in one class, I will not talk about the same subject in the other class that I have. Think about that. Think about that. I got 4 classes a week. I do it 4 times a week. Plus I do this with Rosebud. Right. So that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And I don't talk about the same things or the same subjects. That has to be, I must know a whole bunch of stuff to be able to do that 5 days a week consistently for months and months and months and months and months. Right? But that's what you're missing out on. Love you guys, man. Thanks for being a part. I'll holler at you.